Behold, the divine light guides us all.
I, Ephesus, saw upon the Mount Sion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest. And upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Yahweh. Now are they crowned and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them, and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of Yahweh, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way, and tell my people what manner of things, and how great wonders of the Lord thy power thou hast seen.
Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 29. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine, which is wine, which is made from grapes, as you know. And our Lord, he loves to drink, man. That's something that our Lord took pleasure in when he was here on this planet Earth. He's not going to do it anymore until he returns to do it with you. Showing just how much he loves his elect, man. He's not even going to drink until he does it again with you. I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. So what a moment that's going to be, man.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, and Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Kakadash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right. And what I want to get going to, today, man, he is slipping, man. This is beyond tacky. Some of the things that's, being put on the news. Okay. And what we're seeing now, this whole fallout, behind ICE in Minneapolis. Just looking at some things, man, and you can tell, man, this is extremely staged. The whole, shooting, was a psyop. All right, dealing with the little chick, okay, and the backlash, the fallout. The people that are supposed to be angry and protesting, man. This is just getting extremely tacky, man. He is slipping on this propaganda. These crisis actors, and it's just like it's a clown show, man. It's an absolute clown show, man. Okay, and the scriptures speak about that the devil, he will be slipping at the end, and that's why the only thing left for the devil is just to just wild out with the sword, man. Okay, it's just to wild out with the sword, man, cause some real something major to happen, you know, because what this ain't gonna get it what he doing, man. Okay, he gonna have to really step it up. All right, and the Lord gonna put the spirit on him to step it up to fulfill prophecy, man, so he can go with his move because he needs the earth in crisis mode. All right, to really move the needle on this new world order. Now, when you go to Jeremiah 49:7, it says concerning Edom, thus said the Lord of hosts, is there no longer any wisdom, okay, in Teman, okay? Is there no more any wisdom, okay, in Teman, okay? And I say Teman goes into, the wisdom of this devil's empire, okay, going into, the wise men, the Teman, back in the ancient world, okay? When Esau had this little setup back then, okay, those Temanites were known as his wise men, okay? It says, has counsel vanished from the intelligent and prudent, has her wisdom decayed, okay? So you look at how the devil is moving and how he's all over the place, and you look at his propaganda, how he's been called out, and people are breaking down, his psyops and you see his enchantments and his false flags and staged event, how these things are being broken down, and they're getting worse. Okay, and they're getting worse, man. Okay, but we know one thing that the devil gonna come down with great wrath, and he just setting the stage for it. Because another thing that this devil is doing too. Okay, uh, uh he's desensitizing people. Okay, to hostility from federal law enforcement and citizens. Okay, he desensitizing people to their brutality, man. Okay, because this man, he just getting ready to wild out, man. Because he doesn't have that many moves left. Okay, he doesn't have unlimited moves left on the chessboard. Okay, so he gotta get to the point to where he just wild out. All right. Now I want to go here. I don't want to make this long at all, man. I just want to touch on a few things. Okay. Now you go into this word desensitize. It says a verb. It says to make less sensitive. It says to make someone less likely to feel shock or distress at scenes of cruelty, violence, or suffering by exposure to such images, man. So a lot of things what the devil is doing, he just showing you imagery, okay, to desensitize you to what's going to become the norm over here in America, man. The cruelty and violence that the government is going to inflict on the common people, okay, is they're getting ready to force, all right, this new world order, okay. So what we're seeing, because they done it with niggas, that's why when you see, ICE rounding niggas up, people celebrate. There's no uproar about what's being done to niggas, okay. With ICE, everybody's celebrating. Oh, we can go downtown at 10 o'clock now. I can take the family out. I ain't been out in 4 years. It's so quiet now. We can walk. The streets are vibing again. You see, because they desensitize people to the treatment of Jake. The cruelty of violence against Jake. Which good riddance to them niggas. Get them niggas out of there anyway. Okay, but now they're doing that to the normal American citizen. Okay, they desensitizing. That's why they also push that division of left and right. Okay, to where people are blood rivals, man. This man has created to where, based on who you vote for, okay, you become a blood rival to the other side. All right, both sides are screaming for blood, the left and the right. Okay, so long as it's happening to the left, all right, the right is celebrating. If it's happening to the right, then the left is celebrating. Okay, so this man has pushed all type of enchantments and psyops and divisions, and ultimately this whole system getting ready to collapse, man. This tackiness, man, is sometimes this watching this nigga news be unbearable, man. Okay, because it's just so thrown together and tacky at times, man. What this nigga is on. Okay, so I'm saying now, I want to go here to this news clip I've been watching. I ain't even finished it, man. I got to like 7 minutes of it, man. All right. So you go here. Okay. Let's play this. It says ICE is now literally breaking down people's doors in 1930s Gestapo style raids. Okay, and Gestapo was, the private military force. Okay, of Hitler. Okay, the little mustache guy. Okay, that was supposedly, terrorizing and rounding up anyone that was against, the Nazi regime. Okay, and a certain group of people that they pushed as well. But let's play this. Okay, and this is nigga, JD Vance. Okay, and they're all about, increasing federal law enforcement against citizens, man. They got their foot in the door with deportations. Everybody laughing at Issachar and the northern tribes. Okay, then they came down on you black ass niggas in these Memphis and these inner cities that's known for, crime and violence. Memphis, Chicago. Okay, then they swooped down on you niggas, and now they're making their round to, all right, the average American citizen, man. Okay, because their site out was just to let you know that even the Edomite, all right, the Edomite woman, okay, is not above, okay, the sword, okay, the mercenaries of the elite. Okay, so that was a psyop, that was a signal, all right, to shake people up to, all right, because if the Edomite woman, all right, the so-called white woman, okay, can get their work, then anybody is on the table. Okay, so let's play this.
I think we're going to see those deportation numbers ramp up as we get more and more people online, working for ICE, going door to door and making sure that if you're an illegal alien, you've got to get out of this country. And if you want to come back, apply through the proper channel.
Where's the warrant? Where's the warrant? Where is it? Can you put the guns down, though? Can you put the guns down? There's kids in this house. He said he doesn't have to show a warrant. Get back. I'm not even touching nobody. Get your hands off of me. Where is the warrant? So you can't answer, but you can flash the light?
I honestly can't believe that this is already happening in America, but that's where we are. Trump's Gestapo is now going door to door in Minneapolis, just as Vice President JD Vance said they would, and they are snatching people from their homes without warrants. And as that's happening, the regime is Hitler posting from official government accounts declaring one homeland, one people, one heritage. And for those who don't know, that is a direct callback to Third Reich era Nazi propaganda like this, which read, one people, one Reich, one Fuhrer. And it's just one of many times that they paid homage to their Nazi predecessors.
Here's a recent post from the Department of Homeland Security. It says, "We'll have our home again." And you see this image right here. Well, the lyric, "We'll have our home again," is a direct rip from this song that is associated with these white nationalist Nazi groups. This is an anthem that white nationalists sing. Oh, do you think I was done? Because there's more. There was this post from a few months ago from the Department of Homeland Security, a heritage to be proud of, a homeland worth defending, American progress, John Gast. Well, I'm telling you right now that there is no coincidence that this has exactly 14 words and that the letters H and H are capitalized. And so why do I highlight the fact that it's exactly 14 words? Well, 14 words refers to a white supremacist slogan coined that says we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. So when they are putting 14,
And ICE is pretty much the KKK, the new KKK, you know, the federalized KKK, the Klan. You know, the Edomites, you know, what they get to put the mask on, hide their identities, okay, and they have, you know, the green light to do what they want. Okay, there's really no consequences for their actions, man. And they're showing you too that, you know, just by, you know, the government backing, you know, the so-called shooting of Renee. Okay, with the word Renee goes into, you know, in the Latin, Rene, okay, born again, all right, a new birth, okay, a spiritual transformation, okay, because the Edomite male wants to establish dominance going into this new world order. You know, there's been a lot of bucking up. You know, he's been called out, his history. You know, he's been scrutinized. He's been, you know, there's an inquisition, okay, being made on this nigga. The prophets calling him out, different news sites calling him out, you know, social media, you know, certain, you know. So this devil, he wants to establish Edomite, all right, male dominance going into the new world order. Okay, and ICE, when you look at it, is nothing but the federalized Klan. Okay, they just traded in, you know, the white sheets, okay, for ICE gear, okay, and the poo shiesties. You see, there's a new Klan hood. Okay, so let's play this some more.
14 words, that is coded language to other white nationalists and Nazis. And the capital HH, that's a nod to this phrase right here.
So if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. And in this case, it's a Nazi. And we didn't really need to wait to confirm this until they literally started breaking down people's doors looking for immigrants, because the richest man in the world, a key ally to the regime, was Sig Heiling on day one at Trump's inauguration. And ever since, he's been crying about, quote, demographic replacement amounting to white genocide, and retweeting people calling for remigration, which is a Nazi term for ethnic cleansing. So much like their predecessors in the Third Reich, they believe that their cruelty is justified because in their demented brains, they're the real victims.
So we just got back from the most epic vacation, the Donta World, down in Mexico. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, cool.
So just in case you were still on the fence about whether or not it was appropriate to compare what's happening now to Nazi Germany, because, you know, you don't want to sound too hyperbolic, I'm here to tell you that you should indeed believe your lying eyes. We've reached the stage already where Trump's Gestapo is disappearing people. And once it gets to that point, the debate is over.
My neighbor is missing. There's a girl that lives in the apartment directly across the way from me.
Now, some of the, this news, some news is authentic, but a lot of these things are staged, man. You know, these next few examples that they're going to give, man, this gives me the mindset. This gives me the energy of stage, man, because these people are not in real distress. You know, they calm as hell. You know, speaking about, you know, your whole friend is missing, and, you know, they just calm as hell. Okay, and I'm not, you know, the one to jump to everything being staged. Okay, but this was extremely tacky. You know, this acting that they threw together with certain of these instances, man. Okay, he is slipping on his propaganda, man. The wisdom of teaming, all right, the wisdom of this kingdom is vanishing, man. The Lord is making this man look extremely foolish in these last days, man. And all he got left is their sword. You know, their technology and their sword, man. Okay, and the Lord forcing him to go to it. All right, so let's listen to her, man. And she just sounds calm as hell discussing her friend and then the extra, you know, shit that she do.
I have not seen her in 2 months. Nobody has. Her car is still in the parking lot. Her family, Nobody can get in contact with him. I have no idea where my neighbor is. Do you know where your neighbor is?
You can check out my Facebook, Angel Castillo. You'll see a video of my best friend, Lalo Rios, getting taken away for recording. Got taken away, tied up like a hog. And he's a fucking human being. U.S. citizen, by the way. Born and raised here in St. Paul, Minnesota, and gets treated like a fucking criminal for recording. He listened to your orders. You told him to step back, which he did.
Taken away by federal agents?
Yes, sir.
Disappeared.
We don't know where he is. We don't know where he is. We contacted here. They said he's not here. We're trying to contact the county. They just fucking kidnapped him. Where's Lalo? Where's Lalo? Where's Lalo?
When did this happen?
This literally a couple hours ago. 2-3 hours ago. If you go on Angel Castillo on my Facebook, you will see all my lives. All my lives.
A couple hours ago, an American citizen disappeared into the Trump administration's opaque immigration prison system, these black sites that exist in public view.
And this is going to continue to happen because the rule of law has broken down in this country. So the First Amendment protections that we once had no longer protect us now that we've fallen into a dictatorship. Mahmoud Khalil spent months in ICE detention for peacefully protesting against Palestinian genocide. Larry Bushart spent 37 days in jail for posting a Charlie Kirk meme on Facebook. Remember the preschool teacher, Jessie Plichta, who was arrested after she protested the regime's invasion of Venezuela? Well, she ended up spending 7 days in jail. And even elites aren't safe. The regime is literally investigating the head of the Federal Reserve because he refuses to cave to Donald Trump's pressure. So the protections once afforded to us in our now defunct Constitution, like due process, habeas corpus, and even freedom of speech, have been taken away from us and replaced with a sort of soft martial law where what we can and can't do is dictated by a paramilitary-like secret police force. And having your due process rights violated almost feels merciful, given how they can apparently shoot you in the face with impunity now if they want to, because the regime says that that's okay, and they're protecting somebody that committed an execution in broad daylight. And after Renee Good was murdered last week, it wasn't long before other Gestapo threatened to do the same to other people.
They said, have you not learned? This is why we...
Now listen to this nigga here, man. You know, I think this is why I stopped watching. Listen to this nigga here, man. Oh boy.
They said, have you not learned? This is why we killed that lesbian bitch.
Shame on you.
Listen, have y'all not learned from the past couple of days? Have you not learned?
Learned what? What's our lesson here?
This is nothing but the Klan. All right. These bloodthirsty Edomites, man. You know, and they want their country back. You know, they're being hyped up on the doctrine that they're taking their country back. Okay, from all you welfare queens, okay, you young niggas, okay, you leftists, okay, they're under their doctrine that they gotta cleanse. You see, and it's gonna see right now it's playing. You know, they staging things and they desensitizing, you know, people to, okay, American citizens, all right, being brutalized by federal law enforcement. People are being desensitized to that, all right, because the devil knows how to play on the psyche, okay, and you know us, you know, the Wali Al-Bashim Al-Shah, us being in the light, we see it. We on the outside looking in, and it's tacky as hell. Okay, but to those that are giving over to this man's enchantments, okay, they're giving over to these psyops. They're being heavily enchanted, man. Okay, so let's listen.
What do you want us to learn?
Following federal agents.
Give me my phone.
We were following them from a safe distance.
Following ICE agents.
Yep, following ICE agents. They stopped in the middle of the road and reversed on 62. They tried to ram our car. They broke my window. They yanked me out by my neck. They threw me to the ground. They stomped on me. They pushed my face into the ground. They put the cuffs on as tight as possible to the point where it took 6 agents to try to get them off.
As they're doing this, are they saying anything?
Oh boy. It took 6 agents to get the handcuffs off, man. How can 6 niggas try to get one pair of handcuffs off, man? Now, after all that happened to her, man, she should be bloody, broken up. All this shit she just described happened to her, man. You know? That she should be, this should be hard for her to talk about that if it happened like she say it happened, man. You know? Oh boy, I think this is what I start watching. Watch a little more, see what it goes into. But that nigga said it took 6 niggas to get the handcuffs off, man. I said, oh my goodness. Oh boy.
Yeah, they were calling me a bunch of derogatory names, calling me it. They tried to break my ankle. When he turned my ankle all the way around, I screamed, and he said, yeah, I bet you like that, don't you?
Marketing is easy. This one even said we should get some fancy cookie.
They're Nazis. They're Gestapo. They think that they're above the law. They don't care.
They don't. And Renee wasn't their only victim in recent days, mind you. Aside from the 32 other people who died in ICE custody in 2025, 43-year-old Keith Porter, a father of 2, was killed by an off-duty ICE agent on New Year's Eve. But in addition to Keith Porter, ICE in Portland, which is my city, by the way, shot 2 additional individuals. This was after Renee Good was assassinated, and thankfully they were only wounded and not killed. But still, they're claiming again that the ICE agents feared for their lives because these individuals tried to run them over with their car, which, again, they always fucking say.
And they're desensitizing you to it. That's why they're allowing to make headlines, okay? And they're showing you that these ICE agents have, full, immunity to consequence, okay? They're showing you that these ICE agents have the full backing of the American government to do what needs to be done to any resistance, okay?
The reason why they're so uniquely violent is because they are true believers in what the regime is doing. Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent that executed Renee Good, is described by his family as a hardcore conservative Christian and MAGA supporter who sports "Don't Tread on Me" flags and Trump dance stickers. Which is ironic because he's the jackbooted thug doing the treading. But he also reportedly argued with his family about the Proud Boys on social media, either because he supports them or he's one of them. And somebody made a really good point on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. I wish that I saved their tweet so that way I can credit them. But they said basically the reason why we're probably no longer seeing U-Hauls drop off hordes of Nazis at anti-Trump protests and, drag queen events is because they're already there, albeit they're just in the street.
Yeah, so, let's go here, man. I'm saying this nigga news gets unbearable sometimes, but it's a part of the office, man. God damn. But let's go here because I asked chat real quick. What would Isaiah 49, teaming, losing his wisdom, what would that look like? Okay. It says what that might look like in modern terms. It says, imagine a society, institution, or culture that is globally respected for expertise, insight, and leadership, then suddenly proven incapable of wise judgment. Okay, and what this devil is doing with this new world order, trying to replace the Most High with technology, this is horrible counsel. Okay, this is a terrible counsel. You're trying to put the C-hip in everybody. Okay, he plans to fight Yahushua when he returns. This is horrible counsel, man. Okay, this is the counsel you're getting in these last days because the Most High got him set up for failure, man. Okay, it says a thought leader. It says culture losing moral clarity. Think of prestigious universities, elite policy think tanks, renowned experts in intellectual circles. Okay, a modern teaming would be a place everyone assumes has the answers. Jeremiah's point will look like A brilliant, all right, will look like brilliant credentials, but foolish decisions. All right, clever analysis with no moral backbone, knowledge without wisdom. Okay, and the scriptures say that the wisdom, okay, of wickedness is not the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, man. Okay, so all these niggas are supposed to be so smart and geniuses and experts, and this is the counsel you're getting. Yeah, do that, do this. Attack here, attack there. Do terrible, terrible counsel down the stretch, man. Okay, it said technological brilliance without wisdom. A modern teaming could also be Silicon Valley type innovation hubs, full of intelligence and creativity, yet creating tools that harm rather than heal, solving technical problems while ignoring human consequences, being blindsided by ethical collapse. The wisdom has advantaged intellectually, eroded spiritually and ethically, man. You see, this is describing today Silicon. Where's the technocracy? Okay, what's the foundation of the technocracy? Silicon Valley, man, tech giants, man. Okay, they got all these technical, expertise, man. But when it comes to wisdom or ruling and righteousness, they're lacking. Okay, when it comes to sound wisdom, they're lacking, man. It says religious or moral authorities fail in their calling. Another strong parallel. Let's see. It says a nation confident in its expertise yet self-deceived. On a nation level, it could look like overconfidence in strategy, intelligence, or diplomacy, man. Like America military, overconfidence is going to destroy them. Okay, they've been able to dominate, and project power throughout the world like no other military in world's history. Okay, and it makes them what overconfidence, so they think they can pull off anything, and that's going to be epic failure. Okay, it said pride, all right, in being the smartest in the room, strategic miscalculations born of arrogance. Okay, and this is exactly what we're seeing, man. It said Timon's wisdom didn't disappear overnight. It fell because pride made it deaf. Okay. This is what we're seeing, man. And ultimately, the Lord got these niggas set up for failure, man. So let's get this real quick. I said I ain't want to make this super long. I got one more. All right, in and out, man. So let's go hear the Psalms, because this sums up everything. Yep, this Psalm 73 and 17. It says, until I came into the sanctuary of the Most High, then I understood, for I considered their end. You see, now as we really tap into the spirit, we tap into Yahweh Bashim Shai, we tap into prophecy, man. We separate from this world. We look at this thing from the outside looking in, man. We can see this, the Most High set this nigga up for failure, man. I can see this nigga in. I can see it. We should be able to see this nigga in, man. I can see the Lord got this nigga set up for failure, man. I'm looking at this nigga, man, like this nigga ain't got it, man. And he checkmated every move he think he finna make. He checkmated in already, according to prophecy, man. You see this nigga in, man. It says, surely, all right, surely you set the wicked minded and immoral on slippery places. You cast them down to destruction. Okay, so this devil is set up in slippery places, man. He's set up for complete failure, man. And we're watching this man slip and stumble and trying to get his balance. He's drunk, talking shit, and he's finna lose, man. He's all finna lose, man. So yeah, man. So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters there, once again, I'm gonna give all praise and the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash. and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations, hopefully. Shalom.